Guys, this is the entrance of the cruise. This is from where the people get into the boat, and the number of rooms on each level. And this is the reception area. These are the stairs going up. This is deck level C. This is the dinner area, or the breakfast, or the meal area, as you say.
And guys, this is the topmost deck on this ship. Ample amount of seating space, as you can see. There's a small counter that serves snacks and drinks, and overall we feel that the look and feel of the ship is very luxurious. So this is where our room is. It's on the 4th deck, and now we are apparently told that the ship won't move for another day, and it'll be only leaving Aswan tomorrow afternoon. And again, we feel a cruise between Aswan and Luxor is the best way to travel between the two cities, you know, because you get to do the sightseeing along the way, and the temples and the Esna log that comes along the way, that's the best way to see those. So guys, here we are at our first destination on our cruise journey from Aswan to Luxor, the Temple of Komombo. This is a special temple in the sense that here two gods are worshipped, God Sobek and God Horus. So one is a falcon head god, and the other one is surprisingly a crocodile head god. So the story that goes around here is crocodiles were worshipped as godlike figures because they were destructive, and somehow the people felt that if we worship them, they probably might not harm us. So yes, intriguing facts, and again, a well-preserved temple. This particular temple, when it was found, they found some mummified crocodiles in here, and they are right now being kept at a museum which is right outside this temple. There was a ticket to go there, I think, if I remember correctly. One can say that ancient Egyptians were great doctors. This is what the story tells us. A particular wall in this temple, it's said to have first known representations of surgical equipments. Stuff like scalpels, dental tools, forceps, birthing chairs. These all inscriptions have been found on that particular wall, and that is how it's explained that, you know, they were able to perform complex procedures like mummifications. They had to be advanced in their medical facilities, and that's how they were able to do it.
Okay guys, we quickly wanted to show you this phenomenon. So we are in that part of Nile where apparently the level of water is different. So we'll be using a lock mechanism as you can find in other places like Suez and Panama. So the ship will dock in this small area. You can see another ship is using the lock right now. So it will lock in that area and the water will be filled up so that the ship is elevated and then it will be passed on to the next level. So quite interesting thing to show. So that's the reason we are sharing this with you, and we'll show you more once our ship starts doing the same. So guys, we have just entered the lock. As you can see, we only have water from here till here. So guys, as you can see, the water has substantially gone down. We started from this point and now the water level is here. So this is the work of the lock. The ship comes in the lock and the level is decreased or increased, and then you get transferred to the other side. So guys, now you can see we have been lowered completely and now the gates have been opened, and we are on the other side now. So you can see the markings on the walls on both the sides. This was the level of the water behind us in the Nile, and now on the other side we are much lower.
So after spending 3 nights on the cruise, we have reached Luxor, and the first place we are headed to is the Valley of the Kings. So Valley of the Kings is on the west bank, and since sun sets in the west, it's probably said that all the Egyptian pharaohs and kings, they decided to have their burial sites on the west side. There are around 62 tombs which have been found in the Valley of Kings till date, and more are being discovered as time passes by. So it's a well-known fact that ancient Egyptians believed in afterlife, that there's a life after we all die. So these tombs are prepared by the kings themselves while they are still alive for their mummified bodies to be kept in these tombs for their onward journey in their afterlife. So a king has his entire lifetime to prepare his tomb. The youngest tomb to be found in Egypt is of Tutankhamun, who died at an early age of 18 or 19. So his tomb isn't an elaborate one, and it's very small, and it's not decorated properly also. The reason for this is that they didn't get much time to prepare his tomb, and the only decoration that was done in his tomb was during the process of mummifying his body, which took around 70 to 80 days, and they said whatever they could construct in his tomb during that time, that was done. So his tomb is also the one that has his mummy intact, and it's still there in his tomb. The reason for this is they believe that his tomb is cursed, because the guy who discovered his tomb, he died after a few days after discovering it. So it still remains a myth, and his mummy isn't moved to the Egyptian museum still.
Okay guys, quick fun fact, this is KV7, which is King Valley 7. This is the tomb of the Ramesses, the great Ramesses II, the most acclaimed ruler or pharaoh of Egypt. Unfortunately, his tomb is quite significantly destroyed, so it is not open for public, but really interesting piece of information here. So guys, an interesting fact, you see these holes in the mountains over here, these are all the tunnels which were built by the ancient Egyptians. So you had Valley of the Kings behind these mountains where we were just few minutes ago, and so you can pass from this side to that side of the mountain through these tunnels. Amazing work, amazing. So this temple was built 1350 BC by the Queen Hatshepsut.
So we have finally reached the end of our Egypt trip, and as they say, keep the best for the last. We finally did the magical balloon ride over the Valley of Kings. The experience was absolutely amazing, In the hot air balloon, enjoying the morning view of the Valley of Kings, it could not have gotten any better. We were in the air for about 45 minutes, but sadly we have lost all our footage from that time. So we are leaving you with a couple of shots that were taken during our journey. And after doing that, we took a train back to Cairo, and then we flew back to Muscat from there. So with this, we have reached the end of the vlog, guys. We leave you with things not to miss doing while you are in Aswan and Luxor. And we have an entire Egypt series on things to do in Aswan, Cairo. We highly recommend that you go and check it out.